1 week ago, we were all in bliss. But if you are suffering from the post-bliss blues, you're going to be happy that you're watching tonight's show. So make sure you join us right now on Lori and Cher.
Welcome to the Lori and Cher Show, Hacking into Awesome. I'm Lori Williamson.
And I'm Cher Jones.
And if you don't know Blissdom peeps, Cher and I are cousins, and we host this weekly Google Plus Hangout where we talk to absolutely awesome people and totally hack into what makes them amazing.
Absolutely.
It's true. And this show is a special edition. It's a Thursday night, and it's because 1 week ago, as Cher said, we were in bliss. And this show is really for anyone who went to bliss last week, didn't get a chance to make it, or for a person who doesn't know what bliss is and is kind of curious on how they can kind of enter this world of social media, blogdom, and all kinds of fabulousness.
No, it is a super exciting time. We had such a fabulous time, but we want to remind everybody to join us for this fabulous party tonight. We are going to be talking all night long, all bliss, all everything about it. So we're going to hit you up. But in the meantime, you can also connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Google+. We are social, and you can find us as Lori and Cher. And of course, we have our associate producer on Twitter tweeting with you guys. And make sure you use the hashtag #PostBliss because we can find you, we can talk to you, and of course, if you are watching this right now on the Google Plus event page, you'll be able to use the question and answer app. We'll be looking out for your questions as well as on Twitter and Facebook, wherever. We'll try to get to them all because we have a bunch of guests tonight.
Yeah, we do. Cher, we met so many awesome people, and we had invited them to come on and enjoy us. I mean, to, talk to us about their experience when it comes to bliss and what's to come. And we're super, super excited for them to join us. But, it's Thursday night. We usually have our show on Tuesday nights, so I know what we're both doing.
That's right. We are STEM styling, baby, because you know what? I don't know, for all you Scandal peeps out there, Lori and I normally on a Thursday night we watch Scandal and we're drinking. Yeah, just like Olivia Pope. And you'll notice that we are using these awesome Luigi Bermioli glasses that we got, and I'm not even holding it right. We even got a lesson while we were in bliss on how to hold a wine glass. You'll see I'm at the tip. But what you will see I'm doing is I have white in the red glass, and that we know is a no-no. And why do we do that, Lori? Why do we do that?
Well, because you and I don't really love the red wine, or maybe we just haven't found the red wine that we quite enjoy. But we're absolutely obsessed with like these kind of goblet-style bubble glasses, and we were super excited to get them. And of course, we're now going to be sipping our wine tonight for Scandal.
And swirling and sniffing. And and this is the reason why this Scandal lady Olivia Pope, a.k.a. Kerry Washington, she's just influenced us. And we are so excited to have these glasses. And yes, it is Thursday, and we are ready to talk bliss.
Absolutely. So without further ado, we have to introduce our first awesome guest. She's the principal of Blissdom Canada. She's a co-founder of Splash Media Engagement. She's an event producer. She's a change agent. She's an explorer of the universe. Welcome to the Lori and Cher Show, Miss Jennifer Powell.
Hello, lovely ladies. How are you?
Good. How are you? And we have to say, happy belated birthday.
Your birthday's today, right?
No, it was Tuesday.
Tuesday, that's right. That's right.
Yes. So you turned the big, can I say the number?
Totally. I'm owning it.
Look at that.
I love it.
Look at that face.
Own that.
Oh, yeah.
And it's funny, Leslie Donaldson right now is asking, ladies, what white wine are you drinking? I know, Jennifer, you have your glass ready to go, don't you?
Yes, I'm drinking red.
Okay, you're drinking red, so you're doing it right. So tonight I've got Jacob's Creek Moscato, because I'm a Moscato kind of sweet wine girl. See why I don't drink the red, but that's what I'm drinking. Lori, what are you drinking tonight?
Well, I'm a Moscato lady as myself, so I am having the Barefoot Moscato. It's over there, so I can't grab it, but I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to just like make this last for the whole night.
I got mine right beside me. I'm good to go.
I've got, you know what, I'll show you what I've got, and this is one that we gave all of our American speakers because we thought it was so classy. It is the Canadian Gothic. So we thought that was, well, a nice little nod to Niagara region and to let those Americans know that we have some good Canadian wine as well.
And we sure do. And these glasses, let me say, I feel so sexy right now with this glass. It's seriously, it is like the coolest glass ever. When we were in that room, we were getting the presentation on how to drink wine, how to sniff and sip and all that other good stuff. All Lori and I could think about was the purple box. We wanted the Olivia Pope red wine glasses, the red smooth glasses, and we were just looking at that box, and we got away with it too.
And that's one of the awesome things about Bliss is that you get all this great access to great products and brands, and you get to learn a little bit more about the backstory. But we really want to hear from you about your experience this year at Bliss. So how many times have you been? Because, I mean, like, I know you told us that story. So for everyone who doesn't know your story of how you got into Bliss, can you share it with us tonight?
Absolutely. So I actually went to the first Blissdom as a blogger. I had just recently been dealing with a diagnosis of autism with my son, and sort of got into blogging as a way of telling my story or trying to find a more positive route to the whole autism story. I had found that there was a lot of negativity about how depressing it was, and I thought, oh my God, anyone who's going to read this stuff is just going to be ready to jump off a bridge. And so I kind of wanted to bring a happy place to special needs parenting, and I think I'd started my blog about 2 months before I went to the first Blissdom. It was pretty wild. We actually met up some really, really good camaraderie there.
Awesome. And then how did it become that you went as a blogger to now actually, running it or co-running it?
Yep. So in 2012, I actually got hired, but it was formerly known as I was by Blissful Media Group, which is a U.S. company that started running Blissdom Canada 5 years ago. And as I came in, I was doing sponsorship development, so I was working heavily with the brands. And I kind of knew that at the end of 2012 that they were looking to regroup and focus on the U.S. And we sort of simply went to them and said, what would happen if we took it over? And they were totally gung-ho and very supportive of us turning it Canadian.
Well, we love it because, I mean, it's here. I mean, we love that it was also, in Mississauga, Toronto area. So we love it because we're both Toronto ladies. And I'm sure that all the people that came in, that flew in, loved it as well. I know that you've had it here in Toronto for the last couple of years. So talk to us about your experience. I mean, it was like how many days? 3-4 days of just awesome
exhausting
stuff. And I mean, like, how does it feel to kind of come down? I mean, you've been planning this for such a long time, and it just took place. How are you feeling with regards to how it all went?
Do you know what? We're really proud of what the results were this year. We put a lot of effort. We have a lot of serious discussions among the staff to make sure that the content programming is really solid. The speakers chosen and the community leaders are representative of goodwill and social good and social expertise. We definitely do a lot of reviewing as far as making sure that their social presence is really is up to date and very active, and so it really netted out. We're very excited about how it netted out. We're really proud of it.
That's awesome. There's a lot of things that you announced as well for this Blissdom. Can you share with us, and for anyone who wasn't part of that, that speech, the many times that you did talk about it, but there are some very exciting developments that's happening, and you guys are really taking this to the next level. So can you share some of that with us tonight?
Absolutely. We just kind of looked at Blissdom as being a one-time event throughout the year. It doesn't really make sense because we actually see the Blissdom CA hashtag staying live the entire year, so we know we have a really engaged community. And we also kind of looked at the fact that here we've got all this inspiration and all these fantastic tools that people leave with in October, and if they're not kept kind of accountable, they lose it over the course of the year. So we launched what we're calling 360bliss.ca, and that is going to be an education resource hub that is going to be all about promoting social media influencer and social media professionalism in the Canadian marketplace to start, and then going borderless to head over to the US and the rest of the world.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's so many. I mean, when Cher and I were there, I mean, Cher, you can definitely attest to this. We're like, there's so much to do during Bliss, and it's just like, well, which one do we choose? Like, what track do we choose? And there was a ton of micro sessions. Cher and I were presenting our micro session on how to do Hangouts on air, and I'm telling you, like, if not all of the other micro sessions, we wished we were actually participating in, and that, I mean, while we do want to teach about Hangouts on air, we just knew that there was tons and tons of value that was going to be at the other sessions as well, right, Cher?
Oh, absolutely. I know Tiffany, who's just joined us, she also had a micro session as well. And there were just so many. And I mean, there's just so many options. Like your head is swirling. Like this, that little booklet, this one here, this was like my little Bible for the weekend. I'm like, Lori, which one should we do now? Where should we go now? What do we need to do? We have sponsors to meet. We have people to meet and talk to and connect with and to have that in real life connection. And it was just awesome. So this book was so great, and it literally, mine is tattered and worn, but it's a good wearing. But I mean, there's just so much plan, and you could see the effort that you guys put into it, as far as just how meticulous you guys were in the planning at every step.
I love hearing that you've had a hard time figuring out which one to go to, because our whole thing is that we want to belly up, 3 really, really killer and stellar workshops at the same time. And you're right. I'm really sad that I didn't get to see a bunch of the workshops and the micro sessions. So I can't wait for us to launch that through 360 Bliss, because I figure that now I can catch up with Ryan Hamilton's segment, and I can catch up with Tiffany's micro session and your micro session. And so I think there's going to be a lot of fruitful conversations throughout the year.
So can you explain how it works? Like, when is it actually, like, it's launched right now? I know people can go and create a profile. You go into it a little bit more and explain it to everyone.
For sure. We're going to be offering a variety of different modules and workshops. So we're starting with everything from what you would consider the same as what we did a micro session at Blissdom, which is about an hour-long workshop. And those are going to be, we're actually hoping to launch mid-November. So our calendar is just in the process of getting up and running, but we're looking at having modules that are hour-long workshops, 90-minute workshops, 6-week programs, which is sort of more along the lines of how to become a community manager or how to become a media ambassador. And then we're also looking at a feature speaker series, which is going to be sort of more of those guys who are our keynotes, potentially coming online and giving us an intimate and interactive experience online directly with them. We call it, intimate and interactive experiences with really cool people in your pajamas, because you can do it from home.
We love pajamas.
I love pajamas. I am wearing pajamas right now.
And that is a secret that a lot of people don't know about Cher and I, is that since we do broadcast, I'm in my house and Cher's at her house, and it's like straight party up top, and then it's like PJs down at the bottom, which I don't think a lot of people realize.
All the time. That's just what we're doing. That's how we party here. And we have Tiffany brought in, joining us for the party as well. Tiffany, what were your thoughts as far as just like the amount of options and just everything, that there was so much to choose from? What were you thinking with that?
I didn't know where to start.
Right.
There was so much inspiration, and I really wanted to get a chance to see it all, and I really didn't. I also wanted to spend a lot of time networking, which was really important. I think that's a huge component of Blissdom, is being able to not only network with the brands, but the other bloggers that are there, and spread your net and bring more people into your tribe. And I think that was really important for me as well.
Sure.
So I got a lot out of the sessions, but I think in some capacities I got more out of the friends that I've met and the connections that I've made, and just having more of those people in my Rolodex, so to speak.
For sure. I mean, looks like right now, the power of Hangouts, the good and the bad. Right now, Lori is sort of stuck in Hangout nowhere space, but I'm sure she'll be back in just a second. But Tiffany, I can totally relate to you. I think everybody sort of felt the same way. It's like, for one second, you're talking to, the sponsors, and you're hoping, like, let's start this conversation, because it really just starts with a conversation and keep things rolling from there. And then on top of that, you're talking and you're connecting with all these people, and you want to build relationships, because we know, especially like in the YouTube space, and I'm sure it's the same like in all social space, it's all about collaborations. It's all about growing your tribe through meeting and connecting with people and finding the right people to sort of collaborate with. And that's what I really loved about Blissdom. It was just sort of extending your reach and finding like people to do work with. Because another thing, I'm going to keep on saying it, the one thing I really loved about Blissdom, but it's really like so much, but for me, one of the things I really loved was the fact that this wasn't just a get-together to have fun and, be women, and they're the men of Blissdom as well, which we're going to get to in just a second. We have quite a few of our gents coming on. But what we loved is this was business. Like we were here to do business, and you could really get that. While we're still all friends and we're talking and stuff like that, we came in there with the mindset that what we do matters as influencers, as we connect with brands, that matters. And so you could see that everybody was approaching it that same way. So Tiffany, when you're saying, yeah, I was connecting with sponsors, connecting with people, that's really what this was all about.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you're speaking sweet words to my ears, Cher. Seriously, because when we look at the fact that, a lot of people used to think that Blissdom was for hobbyists or people who were just kind of, sitting on the fence in terms of social media. And what we found is there's been such poignant results that we're noticing. Maven Social was one of our sponsors this year, and they actually are able to measure engagement. The kind of influence that we see from a peer-to-peer conversation that actually creates people to perform calls to action that they would not normally have done, from an advertisement or a direct mail piece or other forms of media, has just been so profound as far as the results that we're seeing. And so we're trying to get everybody to feel like you're a media source. This is, you're within this space in a different capacity than just, hey, I'm talking about different kinds of elements of a story on my blog. I am actually a business person, so it's lovely to hear. Thank you.
You're welcome. Like, it really was just that. It was the opportunity to connect and just grow as a person, as a blogger, as an influencer. You're learning and you're meeting with people. And interesting enough, Holly has a question. She said, what were your light bulb moments? And I think that was really a light bulb moment for me, as far as just like everybody be in the same place. I'm not the only one thinking, oh, it's about business. It's like, how can we live the life we love and make money doing it? So for me, Holly, that was my light bulb moment, was really all about connecting and really growing with people and knowing that this is a business and people are treating it that way. What about you guys? Light bulb moments for you?
I would say my light bulb moment was realizing that
You're learning and you're meeting.
Even though a year ago it was my first Blissdom, this year people were actually talking to me as if I was an expert in blogging, and I just feel like every time I go to a conference, especially Blissdom, it elevates my game so much more than I could have done had I not attended the conference. And it proves to myself that, in fact, I am absorbing and I am learning and I am becoming, hopefully, a leader in the industry and somebody that people can use as a mentor. I want to return that to the people who have mentored me. And that was a big light bulb, sitting in my micro session and having these people who are looking to me for information, whereas that's where I was sitting a year ago. So it was a huge moment for me.
And it's funny, you look at Jennifer's face and she's just like, yes, yes, that's exactly what I wanted to hear. So like, I love it. I love your face. I love the emotion that's coming from it. I could see like practically a tear at the top. It's heartbreak, because this is like, what you're doing is you're serving people in such an awesome capacity, because while this is business, it's like you're still out there and you're trying to leverage the brain power of the community and really grow from that. So hats off to you. Lori, did you have a moment of, like, what was your light bulb moment when you were there? And we have, as well, as you can see down there, the guys are, the men of Bliss have started to pop in, and we're going to get to them in just a second. But I wanted to know, Lori, for you, what was your light bulb moment?
You know what? I think that it's just amazing, because like just listening to Tiffany and then also hearing Jennifer's story about where they were just a couple years ago, and look how far they've come. Like, I mean, the fact that Jennifer started out of a need of, because she wanted to share her personal story, and that she is, now running this conference where hundreds and hundreds of women are coming to hear, what the awesome speakers that she selected, to hear that Tiffany just went last year, and now, people are looking to her as an expert. I just think that I love possibility. So it's like, you can just dream it, and really it can happen. Put things into motion, and you can never imagine where you can be. So I love that, because I think it just gives me hope for my dreams. And it's just like, I think all the stuff that we learned, I know we were back, and I mean, like, I was using my iPhone writing notes on things, and I'm like, okay, what can I do here? And it's like, it's totally possible. You don't have to have, this huge hundreds of, million subscribers. I'm a huge YouTube watcher. All the people I watch have like 500, 600, a million plus subscribers. And, you could see that, if you have a voice and you have a little community that's kind of like looking to you for, your expertise and, or your thoughts on things that, you never know what can happen. So I like the possibility that's kind of been created as a result of going to this. How about you, Cher?
We were just talking about that, and it was just really about the opportunity to collaborate and build your tribe. And speaking of building your tribe, we have Krista, who asked a question to actually Tiffany, and she was wondering, what do you do with all those business cards? So you've gotten all these business cards, and you're collecting, and what do you do with them all? How do you organize them? You've expanded, so what do you do? Look at that.
I was yeah, there we are. We got all our business cards.
Ryan's got them.
Apparently we need a session on what to do with business cards.
Clearly. Yeah. So
well, the first thing I do is I go through them and I make sure I'm following all of these people, and I usually try to tweet them all and say hello, and like these are all people, these ones in particular are the ones that came to my micro session. So
perfect.
I want to make sure that I've connected with them all, either on Twitter or on Facebook. One of the things that I did for my peeps in my micro session was I created a Facebook group. As a collaboration between my 3 sessions, I put it out to them and said, we'll picked a name together collaboratively, and we created this group. And I said, we are now a tribe. And so I made sure that all of these people that I collected business cards from, that's Post-it notes, that they were, that they joined the group and they were invited to the group. And, today I said to them, what do you want to know? Like, what do you want? What's your burning question? And I was inundated with stuff. So, I don't need to keep the paper anymore because now I've got an actual real connection with them.
Which is awesome. Okay, so what we wanted to do now is actually, because we have you guys here and so many people are excited, the deadline to pitch and play is tomorrow, and we have you 2 experts to give us some final tips and tricks as far as what we should be doing.
Yeah, what makes a good pitch? Like, that was probably, I've never seen that before, and I thought that was probably one of the funnest exercises that we did because it made you kind of think on your feet and come up with some awesome ideas. Now, the people that did participate in that session, they get to go home and they kind of get to, formulate some better ideas, and then now they're going to be taking it to the sponsors. What advice do you guys both have with regards to anyone who is interested in working with any of the great sponsors that you guys had or brands?
So we'll start with you, Jennifer. Yeah.
I think the number one thing that we are trying to get across in terms of the pitch and play session, as well as just kind of when you're pitching to brands, is that brand managers often don't have time to be reviewing extensive pitches. So I always say, look at doing something unique as far as catching my attention as soon as you send me the pitch. If you give me 3 paragraphs, I probably won't read it, to be honest, because I need to know what within that first line or 2 is the reason why I should keep reading. I did see someone who is freaking brilliant who sent me a video about 30 seconds long about why they rocked. And I have to say, for us in the world of ADHD, just having to press play was a lot easier than reading a bunch of paragraphs. And I think it's just like, what separates yourself? What's that bait and hook that's going to get me interested to read further about why you should be the one who's pitching and why you should get the sponsored opportunities?
Awesome. Tiffany, what about you? What do you think?
I think just swallowing the fear and doing it. That was my biggest fear, was who's going to want to hear from me? I'm not big enough. I'm not good enough. And the first time I did it, I was terrified, shaking. I actually sat in my car and cried before I did it, and stood up, much like the pitch and play, and talked to a panel of brands and said my little spiel. And I didn't talk about numbers, and I didn't talk about you know, how big my blog was and how big my followers were. I just talked about who I was. And I think that's important as well. It's because it's not always about numbers. And I know that's a lot of brands are looking elsewhere for who they want to engage with, not just about the numbers. So if you're true to you and you're, you know, true to your message, that will shine through.
I love that advice because I know that you talked about Maven Social, but I love that it's not just all about the numbers. It's about like who that person is and, you know, the impact that they can make on, you know, out there with regards to working with the brand. So, wow. I think everyone, if you guys are thinking, anyone who's watching from the Blissdom community, if you are pitching, make sure you take the advice that we've shared today as well as the advice that we shared last week or that they've shared last week. You know, keep it brief. Get to the point and come up with some really unique ideas. Tiffany and Jennifer, I just want to say thank you so much for coming on the Lori and Cher show. We have the Men of Bliss that we're going to talk to next. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. So next up, we've got the Men of Bliss. So it wasn't just about the ladies. We're talking the gents, too, were rocking at Bliss. Huh, Lori? Were you surprised?
You know what? Kind of, because I mean, it was just a lot of estrogen in that place. But it's nice to see that, you know, some men, some testosterone came through. So I'd like to introduce our next guest, our next two guests. We have Ryan Hamilton, who's a father, a blogger, a podcaster. He's also the co-founder of Life of Dad. Welcome to the show, Ryan.
Cheers.
Awesome.
All right, drinking. All right, what you
Yes,
drink, Ryan?
and I'll have you know, Lori, my wine also makes me feel sexy.
Very good.
And then we also have Ricky. He's a daddy blogger, a visionary, a husband, a father. He's an internet marketer, and he's also an Amazon best-selling author. Welcome to the show, Ricky.
Thanks so much for having me on the show. I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome. We never got to meet you in person, but we did meet Ryan as we went to the podcast 3 Piece in a Pod, Ryan. So we were like super excited because Cher and I, we do this Hangout thing, and we were like, we should totally take this to the Hangout, to the podcast space and just, you know, create podcasts out of what we do. So we've really appreciated going to your session. Ricky, tell us, for you, what was your experience at Bliss? Is this the first time you get? Are you a vet? What is it like for a man to be in a group full of women?
This was actually my first ever blogging conference of any sort, so it was a quite incredible and overwhelming experience showing up there, and then I had no idea what to expect, so all of a sudden there's like 400 women, and looking for the other guys is about 10 of us, so we were definitely outnumbered. But when I look at it, it wasn't really about the gender, it wasn't about the geography, it was really about our common passion, which is blogging. So at the end of the day, it was just we were connecting on that level, that we're all passionate about blogging, working with sponsors, networking, and learning and through the different guest speakers. So at first, I felt a little bit overwhelmed for the first day and a half or so, and then I started getting into it. And then by the third day, when it's about to be finished, and I was like, okay, now I'm starting to feel comfortable. I wish it would keep going. So I know when I come back next year, I'll be much more at ease.
Awesome. Ryan, how about you? What was that like? This is your first Bliss as well, right?
It was my first Blissdom and certainly not my last. I mean, you know, you get me in a room full of, you know, like you said, estrogen, 400 women. I'm in my element. I absolutely loved it. You know, I'm actually going through a pretty rough divorce right now, so I'm coming from a slightly different angle. I mean, this is my chance to get out of the house, get out of the country, get a chance
and
to.
what better place to be?
What other better place to be on the planet than Blissdom, Canada?
All good. Yes,
yeah,
I mean, pop that Blissdom cherry.
I was like, show me the doorway, let me in, you know. So it was
absolutely.
blast to be there. Absolute blast to, you know, get to meet so many awesome, talented, you know, intelligent, you know, independent, bright, you know, creative women and men too. It was just an amazing, you know, very inspirational experience, and you know, you walked away very touched on a very human kind of personal level, but also, you know, more intelligent and more kind of versed on how to do business too. It had pretty much everything to offer anybody, I think, all the attendees.
Absolutely. One of the things that I think that's, I can't tell you that I don't really know any daddy bloggers. So, like,
Now you do.
guys, now I know some daddy bloggers. We hear about mommy bloggers, and,
Sure.
Blissdom, is filled with a lot of women who have kids, and they're using this to kind of, create their own online identity as well as, as a business. Can you guys talk to us about the challenges in the daddy blogging world that you find?
I think more often than not, what we've seen over the years is several things. Obviously, when you talk about parenthood, oftentimes that's equated to motherhood, and so we're kind of starting off, a little bit handicapped in that regard from a societal kind of cultural standpoint. So I think over the past, kind of like 2 to 3 years that I've been in this game, I've seen, a lot of dads kind of fighting for, some kind of equity and equality when it comes to the conversation about parenthood. And we have, through various communities that we've mobilized, Life of Dad included, things like Dad 2.0 Summit included, and certainly whatever kind of events and meetups that we can go to. We've seen a lot of mobilization in the community, so currently we have about thousands and thousands of dads worldwide who congregate, and we speak about issues and topics, and we do kind of advocate and make change too. And we have seen kind of the needle move in the past few years, in terms of kind of this cultural shift. We are seeing a little bit more equity and a little bit more equality when it comes to parenthood. We're not seen anymore as like the idiot dad or the bumbling dad. More often than not, we're seeing higher levels of fathers holding their own in the household, raising the children, and seeing women out in the workplace and things like that. So I think that's probably the most challenging thing that I've seen. But not to harp on the negative, like I said, we have made strides, and we've seen advances in entertainment, in media, in advertising. We have seen PR companies kind of improve, the imagery of fatherhood over the past few years, and I think that's certainly a testament and a direct result of kind of this mobilization that we've seen in the dad space.
That's awesome. Ricky, what do you think about that? What have you seen? You're the father of 2, right?
Yeah, I am, and I've been blogging for 2 years. So when I first started blogging, I didn't find many other dad bloggers, and then all of a sudden I saw on Facebook there was a dad bloggers group, and then that was just 2 years ago, and I've seen it growing just from like a few dozen to now a few hundred, and a lot of them are North American based, but now we're seeing them spring up in Australia, in Europe, in Asia. So I think the dad blogging is rising dramatically, and it's good to be one of the forerunners, and it's just good to build up community among bloggers generally, but even a subcategory among parent bloggers, and then even a smaller niche category with the dad blogging community. But at the end of the day, I think it's all about our common passion about blogging.
Absolutely.
I think that's awesome, because I think, like, just even talking to Jennifer before, and her expressing or telling her story of how she started at Blissdom, first as a blogger, and we see how far she's come. So you guys are 2 years in, so you guys keep at it. Where are you guys going to be in the next 2-3 years in that daddy blogger space? There could be a plethora of opportunities. Do you guys find, I mean, Ryan, I know you touched on it a little bit, you're saying that the PR companies, that you've seen kind of a change that's happening, the way in which that they are, what's the word? The way in which they're, pardon me?
They're outreaching or connecting.
Outreaching to dads. Like, have you guys found that a challenge compared to, to the mom community? Do you guys see that there has been a change? And, what is it that you'd like to, what would you like to see change in that space?
Well, there absolutely has been a change. Like I said, over the past 3 years, we have seen those shifts. I think, not to name drop brand names or anything, but, there have been kind of market times where a PR company or a brand really denigrated the hell out of a dad, and certain dad bloggers mobilized petitions and mobilized communities around kind of challenging that PR company or challenging that brand, and we have seen strides in the space. There's a very well-known dad blogger. His name is Zach Rosenberg. I'm totally shout him out. I do it everywhere, and he's of 8bitdad.com, and he did an advertising study where basically in the privacy of his own home took an Excel spreadsheet, had kind of 4 or 5 criteria by which he ranked 200 TV commercials that featured dads. he went one by one, watching these TV commercials, one after another, ranking on his 5 different criteria. And in so many terms, kind of formally through this study, proved that there have been strides made in the advertising space when it comes to kind of presenting dads in a positive light. Now that's, I would say, a direct result of what we've seen in kind of like some of the mobilizations in communities that we've seen sprout up in this space. What I'll say is the future of that, since we have kind of to some degree overcome a lot of those handicaps, is that we have, it's almost like kind of Maslow, you want to kind of realize your potential. We have those kind of basic necessities taken care of, those kind of baseline, okay, yeah, we're here, we're not idiots, so where do we go from here? We have blogs, we have thousands of incredible voices across the world. Ricky Shetty, name dropped at least 4 or 5 continents. We've got dads down in Chile and in South Africa, all over the planet. He have awesome voices. And not only bloggers, but podcasters, video producers, comedians, entertainers, doctors, lawyers, stay-at-home dads, work at office day, day job dads. You see a little bit of everything, and they all have kind of unique perspectives and different voices. I know from Life of Dad's perspective, the future and kind of where we want to take things is we want to rock the world with this. We have thousands of connections of dads, awesome fathers across the planet. And we have good friendships with everybody who joins along with us and joins the community. And so I feel like we truly, we see cable channels, we see radio stations, we see, how do we take this positivity and this positive message and positive imagery of fatherhood and expand it to the world. I know in America we're facing a fatherhood absence crisis. 1 in every 3 households in America is absent a father. And to the extent that we can kind of take these images and messages to a broader audience and perhaps show a positive view of fatherhood, we can hopefully, in so many ways, help kind of improve that situation and increase fatherhood engagement in the household, and as a result, improve the world.
Do you ever find the pressure, and this question comes from Leslie Donaldson, especially in light of what we were just discussing a little bit earlier, do you guys ever find the pressure to be humorous in your blogging because of how you have in the past been positioned as fathers and whatnot? And I know that you are advocating as a collective, if you will, to address that. But at the same time, do you guys feel that pressure? And again, this comes from Leslie Donaldson, and those of you who have just tuned in live, we are talking to the men of Bliss, and right now we're talking, do they feel the pressure of being humorous when it comes to blogging?
Ricky, what do you think about that?
You?
Take it away, Ricky.
For me, I don't really feel the pressure from others. I think it's more about the self-directed. So I'm writing about what it means to be a dad from my perspective. So it's not external, I think it's internal. And the other comment I was going to make is just, I don't think the trends are changing just in the blogging world in terms of the dad and mom bloggers. I think they're changing just in the parenting world in terms of just moms and dads. So dads are much more involved. You'll see them much more involved with every stage, everything from the pregnancy to the delivery to the post-delivery to helping out at home to helping out with chores like cooking and cleaning and laundry, etc. So I think just dads are getting much more involved with household stuff. And I think the roles are changing. Like, for example, the moms, they'll go back to work earlier, so they'll be a lot more career-minded. And dads might be having much more flexible jobs. They might be working from home, staying at home even. So I think there's a shift in parenting generally. And sometimes it's actually almost a need that both parents need to work just to pay off our mortgages and all, right? So that means that, dads are going to have to step up the game and get more involved. And, as bloggers, I think we can pioneer that because we're sharing what it means to be a dad. And even the definition of a dad is not as well defined, right? We kind of know that moms are more the nurturers, the caregivers. But as dads, we've traditionally been the providers, protectors. But now we're helping out with the nurturing side of things, the communication, the reading the stories, etc. So there's a whole shift, I feel, in parenting and families generally, globally, and especially in North America.
Awesome. So for you guys, what were the biggest kind of aha takeaways, favorite moments that you had this past weekend at Bliss?
It's hard to pick one, but I would say the Power Hour, was truly touching. I don't think anybody would really contest that here on this panel. Feel free to
true.
disagree, but I don't know. The power hour just really kind of struck a human chord with me. I think I had to fight back the tears a little bit more ardently during that hour, more so than any other session during the weekend. So I don't know. The power hour just really, I think that was the shining moment of the whole weekend for me. And that's certainly no disrespect to all the other programming. The keynote speaker was obviously excellent, it was perfect. Derek Kayongo really closed out the event extremely well. The pajama party was bonkers.
Oh, we saw the picture.
Yeah, and the pictures to prove it. And the throwback party and the carnival, the lentil burgers were just incredible. I thought I gave a decent panel, I think, on podcasting. If I do say, the fellow panelists were on there. We just rocked out and we had a great time. Just had an absolute blast, sharing our passion for podcasting with the world. And, hats off to Jennifer Powell and Shannon Mischik for personally inviting me to the event to kind of share my life story through my own kind of mini keynote there, one of the sessions, along with Karen Cumming, who's actually going to Mars. You know what? I would say I met someone who's going to Mars, and mind blown.
Yes.
We Karen
I'm gone.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
How about for you, Ricky?
Yeah, I mean, everything was overwhelming and incredible. I think one of the standouts for me was walking in on the second day into that carnival room. It just blew me away. I had no idea what to expect. I was like, wow, it was over the top in terms of the carnival. They had the music, the dancers, they had all these carnival games, and the whole ballroom had been completely transformed, and we were just having lunch there like 2-3 hours ago, and then within 3 hours transformed the entire thing. So I really like that element, the fact that they got sponsors to do it and they just let them be free and create magic, basically.
And they really did.
And, yeah,
Absolutely did.
Much love to everybody there.
One of the things I'd like to do, as you guys said, it was, hundreds and hundreds of women, and there was probably like maybe 10 men that were there. Looking towards next year and the events that are going to take place for Blissdom, what advice do you have for men who are blogging, whether it's because they're daddy bloggers or they're in the blogger space? What advice would you have for them when it comes to surviving Bliss in 2015?
I like your word survival there. I take a different, perspective. I didn't feel like I was like surviving the event. I was seriously thriving. I mean, I was in my element there. I will be back. I promise you. For as long as Shannon and Jen keep on having that, you will see me there. You will see me, and perhaps bring some dad bloggers along for the party. That was time of my life. Best event ever. I mean, survival. Join the
Join the Blissdom. 360 Bliss, baby. 360.
Put on a life preserver and come join a brother there. I promise you'll be fine. Yeah.
Ricky, any advice on how to enjoy the weekend at its utmost?
Yeah, I think it's about emotional management, because when you walk into the room, whether you're a guy or girl, and especially if you're a guy, you're going to be a little bit more overwhelmed to just approach a girl and start talking to a woman about blogging or whatever, right? I think it's about emotional management, because there'll be a desire to connect, but there'll also be a fear of connection. So it's about choosing that desire to connect over that fear of connecting and thinking, oh, they don't really want to talk to you. Because when you do step out and just say, hey, how's it going? How are you enjoying the conference? You'll get such a positive, favorable response back. So I think it's about really stepping out of your comfort zone and connecting, because that's what people are there for, to connect and to learn and to grow and build community. So everyone is there with the same objective. And I was reading some of the blog reviews of the women who were there, and I could see some of the women were also having these fears. It was their first time at Blissdom. They were a little bit self-conscious. They didn't know anyone there. So I think it's common to the human, almost the human nature. We have this fear, but this desire to connect. So I think it's really about following the desire. That would be my good advice.
Yeah, I want to piggyback off that, because you said something really profound. Find the common ground. You said, we're all there for the same reason. We're all talented. We're all skilled. We all have, creativity. And we all have families. And at the end of the day, we all have families at home. This is about our children, isn't it?
It sure is.
So, yeah, find the common ground. We have more in common. Male, white.
I think, Patricia,
black, white, male, female. We're all fundamentally human.
This is another advice I was going to give. I would do a lot of pre-Bliss communication and connection. So on Twitter, for example, the Blissdom Twitter handle, they actually have a list of all the speakers, all the attendees, and also all the sponsors. So what I did is actually went and I followed everyone on the list, and I started making the connections already, and just seeing like some people who are maybe also from the West Coast, some people I might have in common with, and then when I went there, I could be like, hey, I'm already following you on Twitter. So there was already a connection before the connection, an online connection before the offline connection. So connect before, during, and also after. Like this.
And after.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Patricia Oliver, she comment on Twitter, and she was basically saying that it's not a gender thing, it's a passion thing when it comes to Blissdom. So she's basically just piggybacking on you, Ricky, and really just saying, yeah, she totally agrees that the fact that this is not about gender, it's about passion, and you could clearly see that in our speakers tonight that are on the show joining us, and everybody else. We just had a great time, and it didn't matter whether you're black, you're white, you're male, you're female. It's all good. We had a fantastic time.
Ricky and Ryan, tell us what's coming up next for you guys. What are you guys working on? Coming up, for your business and what you guys are doing.
Ricky, you want to?
Sure. Yeah, so besides daddyblogger.com, I actually run a group here locally in Vancouver, Canada. It's called YVR Bloggers, and it's basically training and education and networking for bloggers on a localized level. So we do monthly training and education. They're usually evening events for about 3 hours, plus we do a one-day blog mastery workshop. So if anyone who's watching the Hangout here is in Vancouver, you're welcome to come to those events. Plus, I actually record them, and I'm putting them online, so you can watch them on our YouTube channel as well. And the website for that is just yvrbloggers.com. And yeah, going forward, I want to build up the blogging community locally. I'd love to do something like a bigger conference here on the West Coast, because I know there are a lot of bloggers who are from Alberta and the west side of the country, and it's expensive to fly all the way to Ontario, right? So yeah, bring on Blissdom West Coast.
You hear that, Jennifer and Shannon?
Bring on Blissdom West Coast.
just bring on more Blissdom. I don't care where it is. Just
bring the bliss.
Yeah, bring
that
the bliss.
Should be the hashtag. Bring the bliss, baby.
Bring the bliss to me.
And Ryan, for you, what's coming up down the pipeline for you?
For me, we're working on revamping Life of Dad. This started about 4 years ago, and we've attained a fair level of success with the venture. We got thousands of dads worldwide, hundreds of bloggers, about 20 to 30 podcasts on our network, and just some awesome friendships that we built. We certainly want to kind of revamp everything and start from square one and make sure that we're coming out with the best tools that we can do to kind of serve the dads of the planet and beyond, hopefully. Since I'm going to Mars, apparently, at some point soon. But other than that, I've got really kind of a project I'm passionate about. Many of you may know I'm got a 8-year-old son with Asperger's and ADHD, and just an incredible kid. And his passion is for video games, and he has told me in so many terms that he wants to grow up and be a game developer. So I'm a coder. I've been a coder since I was his age. So this past Christmas, I bought a whiteboard and have been teaching him how to code on a whiteboard and on a laptop ever since the top of the year. And I've been recording the sessions, sharing them with the world, and the effort's called Daddy Dev. You all can check it out at daddydev.com or on Twitter at daddydev_Ryan. That's what
I love it, because I can totally relate to that. I have a kid who's 11 years old, and he's an Aspie as well. So, and he wants to code, and he's into Minecraft. I think we had a little discussion about that. So we'll be out there. We'll be out there.
Much appreciated. Thank you, Cher.
Well, we want to say thank you so much to Ricky and Ryan for joining us and giving us the male perspective for their time at Bliss. So thank you guys so much for joining us tonight on the Lori and Cher Show, and we look forward to continuing to connect with you guys and learning more about what you guys do, and seeing you guys next year, because I know Cher and I definitely will be back, and we know that you guys will be back too.
That's right.
So much.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Bye, guys.
Right.
Bye.
Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you for coming out.
All right, so let's get on to our next. We saw our next guest that they were patiently waiting, so we want to welcome.
I know, thank you
Amber.
guys.
Yes, thank you. We want to welcome Amber. She's a blogger for Huffington Post, and she's also the co-founder of Fate Keep, and is a promoter of social good. So welcome to the show, Amber.
Thank you. Nice to be here, guys.
Awesome. And then we also have Krista. She's a fun, frugal, to the max. She's a community manager. She's a blogger. She's a freelance writer. She also co-hosts a Twitter chat. She's an awesome lady. We met with her during our lunch at Blissdom. So welcome to the show, Krista.
Thanks. It's great to be here. I'm so glad we sat together at that luncheon. It was an immediate connection.
Absolutely. So thank you, guys. We wanted to talk about, another element. Cher and I presented. We were community leaders as well as you guys were. So we just want to talk about your experience. Are you guys you guys have been to Bliss before? That's correct?
That's right. I was a community leader last year as well, and this year, it just felt right that, I got to represent social good last year, and that I would be able to do it again this year. It just felt natural. It's an amazing space where, anybody who has a niche or, a certain passion, they can come and celebrate it at Blissdom.
Awesome. And Krista, what about your micro session that you did?
Yes, this was my first year to be a community leader at Blissdom, and I led a Facebook engagement session on really helping people figure out how to get our posts back into people's feeds. We worked so hard to get these fans to like our pages, and then the Facebook robots changed, the algorithm changed, and people aren't seeing our posts. So I just love being able to share some of the hacks that I've come up with, and I'm going to continue to share those tips and tricks as part of 360 Bliss. So really pleased that 360 Bliss will be offering the micro sessions for people that weren't able to make it. And I'm going to attend them too, because Amber, we didn't get to attend any micro sessions.
That's right. It's going to be actually very exciting because there were so many sessions. For example, you guys' Google Hangout session. I was like, whoa, that's just amazing. I would love to go sit on something like that. So.
Well, we definitely had, as community leaders, the four of us right now, we definitely had a great time, and we all dealt with that same sort of looking through the book and being like, man, I'm so happy to be here and to share, but man. That is, again, a testament to Shannon and to Jennifer and how well they, and I know Ryan too on that team, Ryan, the other Ryan, right? Is there another Ryan? Or Neil, sorry, Neil. Just the work
Tara.
that they, and Tara, there's such a huge group, and just the work that they put into this and selecting, I can imagine they got a lot of selections, so I felt honored, and I know Lori did as well. We felt honored to be among people like you and just bring our A game and just wanting to share. It was such a community of sharing, so I loved that, and I really wished I could be at both of your sessions, to be quite honest.
Yes, because Cher and I, Krista, are constantly being annoyed by Facebook, with the how many people have seen our post, haven't seen our post, and we have all our theories about what happened with that post, how come it didn't do well, and then another one did amazing. So
Facebook doesn't like YouTube, damn it.
well, check out my micro session. I've got some really easy tips and tricks to implement that really do work, and it just wakes up Facebook for us. So make sure you check out the offering on 360 Bliss. I think I'm starting next week. I'm pretty excited.
Wow, that's awesome. So for you guys, everyone's been sharing little bit of tips on how, and I use the word survival, and Ryan says that he was able to kind of really flourish in that environment. But what was it for you? How did you guys? What's your strategy for taking away the most out of that weekend? And then waiting a whole year again to kind of everything that you learned. What is your strategy for kind of taking away some of the knowledge and education that you guys learned?
Well, I find that I strategize by okay, one day is to make all the contacts possible, and one day is divided into, just going and making sure you maximize on all the content that's being shared by all the powerful speakers. And, sometimes you if you've been to more than one conference, you could, be confused and think, okay, well, maybe it's going to be the same as any other conference and stuff. But with Blissdom, every year, even though, it's in the same place and everything, every year there's something incredibly amazing that you have to, keep up with and learn new things. And so you basically have to be on top of it, but at the same time, it's have a strategy when you go in.
And and Amber, one of the things I want to ask you is, you've been to Bliss before, but what do you do in this time now? Like, you've gone to Bliss, you kind of have like a little strategy, but what's your post-Bliss strategy with regards to who you've connected with, maybe some of the brands that you've met, some of the people that you've met, the education or the stuff that you've learned? What are you planning on doing in the next couple of weeks post-Bliss?
Well, I find the best thing to do post-Bliss is, go through your cards. Krista asked an amazing question about what do you do with like that huge stack of cards. It's good to go through every single one and, see who you really connected with. And what I try to do is when I do get a card, I try to make a note on the card to make sure I remember that person. And I've started this new thing where I make the person hold up their card, their tag, and I take a picture of them with the tag. So then I will not forget who they are.
I love it.
We had, right? So these are just creative ways to remember the people because there's, over 500 people there. Like, how are you going to remember everyone? So then you come back and, slowly hack away at the cards, get back to the contacts, communicate, reach out to some, and you'd be surprised before you reach out to some, others will reach out to you, right? So there's everybody there is there to make a connection. So it's a very nice experience, but it's also very motivating. So you take away that motivation and try to apply it to whatever your business strategy is immediately.
I love this because I love that we're having like everyone coming on the show share and everyone's kind of sharing their little tips. Like, who would have thought to take a picture with the business card and
their name badge, yeah.
Just have that connection, and you're not like, oh gosh, who was that person again? I don't really remember how they look, and then you're trying to like search them on Google. So I like that one.
Yeah.
That's super. Yeah, I'm a really visual learner too, Amber, and so I've gone through the Flickr feed that Beach Mama provided for us, all of the photos, thousands of photos of the conference, and I've gone through and I've put little favorite hearts on them, and then clipped them to Evernote notes for myself that, oh, I wanted to touch base with this person about being a guest on Canadian Money Twitter chat. Oh, I wanted to touch base with this person to ask about their experience in being a brand ambassador with this brand, etc. So I've already kind of got my hit list, and I've attached a picture to it too, because that really helps me. But I'm going to totally steal your idea next year and take more pictures with my phone. I didn't take pictures on my phone this year because I remembered from last year that we were provided with so many pictures, but I think you have it right, Amber. That's a great thing to do.
And always you have to remember that, whenever you're there, it's a social event and you're sharing on your social platforms, celebrating yourself and other bloggers and the connections you make. It's good to tweet, it's good to Instagram, it's good to share on your, personal Facebooks and stuff like that. And that, creates that community hype as well. So I find that's always useful.
And one of the things that
Oh, sorry. I also found that because of the attendee group that they set up, and as well as the community leader group that they set up, it really gave us another platform and a space that we could really continue the conversation, continue the networking. And Ricky talked about networking before, during, and after Bliss, and it's something that it is an active and smart strategy, especially because, again, that word collaboration comes up, that word of, we talked about learning, and then I found it was such a reach back and pull forward, or grab somebody, and it was a bit of both, because you're learning from the people who motivate and inspire you because of where they've already arrived to, and then you're also pulling back, and you're reaching back, and you're saying, I'm going to help you get here. So that's really what I loved about this environment and this atmosphere, and the fact that we can continue that through community and continue that through these tech mama strategies. Oh my gosh, I love this whole Evernote. You just pulled out the tech, Krista. That was awesome.
One of the other things that I loved, during the weekend was we got, access to such, awesome brands, and, for instance, Manulife with their whole, what is it called? The sensibility.
Sensibility.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
Tell us a little bit more about that, because you were that's your whole thing, isn't it?
This is my thing. So, yeah, when I was invited to take part in the 30-day challenge, which is open to everybody, this was not a challenge for me. This was a way to celebrate my frugality. So the challenge is during the month of October to take a picture of something you've done that is really money smart, how you've resisted an impulse, or how you've saved on something by buying it on sale, or perhaps using a coupon, or people are, taking pictures of their coffee that they're giving up that splurge every day, and they're saving thousands of dollars over the year if they were to adapt this as their new lifestyle. So it's been a fantastic challenge, and if you check out Sensibility, and it's spelled money sense, C-E-N-T-S, ability, and it's our ability to hold on to our sense, right? On Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, there's been a lot of really neat tips and tricks from people across the country, and even the states joined in today with their tips as well. So people are just really trying to be accountable on how they can save bit by bit. And that's really my saving story. I left a job at teaching at university and college because it was cheaper for me to stay home and find ways to live frugally than pay daycare, etc. So this was neat that one of the sponsors of Blissdom really spoke to my blogging passion, and really pleased. So I encourage the rest of you for the month of October, join me in frugality.
Absolutely, and I love that. It was Manulife who was the sponsor, Manulife Financial. And what I loved is that they had partnered with an Etsy artisan, and they had given all these really awesome kind of like change purses. So yeah. I love that they kind of went to something that was really, really small instead of going to some big brand and creating something. And it kind of means more because, supporting other women, other small businesses. I love that a big company kind of went and did that. So thank you to them.
Yes, great sponsors.
So, guys, what about you? What was your favorite moment at Bliss? When you look back at the weekend and you're like, whether it was an aha moment or it was a picture you took, a conversation that you had, what kind of stands out the most for you?
Well, if I can speak to that, I find, the thing I love about Blissdom the most is the fact that it incorporates the entire you as a woman. So I love that I could bring my kids there and they could be downstairs in, certified babysitting without me freaking out about them, or, I like my kids are always in tow. So is my husband. Like we arrange it so we both are working at the same time. So it just worked out so conveniently, and the sponsors, the way they get involved, like Chevrolet, the way they were picking up all the people, shuttling them from location to from wherever they were to the location of the conference. Like these are issues, transportation, child care, all these things are issues that concern women in the workforce, and it really, really impacts us immensely. And Blissdom is a holistic approach to women in business because it really addresses the needs of a woman, a mother, an individual, as a parent, there were dad bloggers there too. I remember there was a dad blogger last year who brought in his entire family too. Like it's a completely holistic approach to business, which I think more and more companies, if they're, if they want to be ahead of the game, they should look at these blogger conferences and try to adopt some of these really, really progressive practices.
I love that. I love that you came, and I love that this is what families can do. It's like I did see, families that were there, and they had their kids there. They got to use the camp that was there, the daycare service, that husbands were up there, and, that they really, it was, as much as I know there's a ton of moms that were totally happy about getting away from their kids for like a couple of days. Yes. But it was also good.
Me.
But I love that it was one in which you didn't have to, be separated from your family, and that, Amber, you're coming in from Montreal, right?
That's right. I was
exactly. So it was kind of like a little mini vacation, to come into Toronto and stuff like that, and it was something that, the whole family could enjoy while you were kind of, hobnobbing and talking and learning with people that, your kids and your husband got to have a fun time in Toronto. So I love that.
It was very, very amazing that my older daughter, who's 13, she came in and she was like, oh, Mommy, I'm going to skip school because we're going to Blissdom. So it wasn't like that Mommy's going to Blissdom. No, we are going to Blissdom.
You're going.
Yeah, so it was a family adventure, and she got to kind of work as a counselor in training at the Pioneer Camp, and she was really thrilled about it. So it really is hitting the family on every level, and the individual who's showing up for business conference is addressing all their needs.
We just want to remind everybody who's watching right now, we are taking your questions, your comments, and your tweets. And we also heard from Leslie Donaldson. She's been so active, and that's awesome. And she wants to know, what's the biggest project that each of you guys will be working on this year? So, Krista,
thanks,
we'll start
Leslie.
with you. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Leslie. Hi, glad you could join us. A great question. I've really revamped my entire lifestyle in the past 6 to 8 months. I've opened up a social media consulting business, and I've taken on some clients that I'm working with. So that's really big for me. For the past several years, I've been at home working little bits here and there, but now I'm almost up to full-time hours, still from home with the odd time out. So that's a big change for me. So actually, my personal brand as Save at Home Mom is now, the blogging that I'm going to do. And blogging is a really small part of my life, but it's an important part still. Is not only going to be saving money. Now I'm looking for those hacks to save time, because I'm no longer going to be spending 4 hours a week clipping coupons. I don't have time for it. And those were exactly the people that I was trying to convince 3 years ago. Like, oh, everybody has time for it. Well, now I'm understanding not everybody does. So really reinventing my own personal brand and launching my business. And of course, my biggest project that I'm thrilled about is the 360 Bliss. So I'm going to be delivering some workshops with them and connecting with Blissdom peeps again, and reaching out farther as well to making sure that we're all sharing this value that we have in our head. And I love that spirit about Blissdom. We're not protecting our intellectual property. We're releasing the value of the life lessons that we've learned back into society and helping everybody thrive. And so that's what I'm working on.
I love that. You said some key things in what you just said, because you said the word hack, and Cher and I are total hacks, and hacking into awesome. Cher is a personal branding coach, as well as a social media trainer, and you said that, talking about changing your own personal brand. So I'm like, I hear those words and I think Cher Jones instantly. And then I love that you were talking about not protecting your own intellectual property, and that it's really about sharing what you know with the community. And I love that it's like everyone doesn't have to hold on to all the information that they know.
Exactly.
But they can share it, because then as a community you all thrive and you all kind of rise up. No one has to be down here. Everyone can kind of rise up and really take advantage of all the opportunities that are out there, because there's a lot of opportunities out there. So exactly. I love that you said that, Krista, and you know what, definitely looking forward to connecting with you and learning, as well as you, Amber, more about what you guys do and kind of the life lessons that that we can learn from you guys. So we just want to say thank you so much for coming on the show tonight and sharing your thoughts on the weekend, and we really appreciate it.
Great, thanks for having us.
Really appreciate it, and it's a really entertaining show. Thank you so much.
Oh, thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, Cher Jones, I can't believe this. You know what? This is the first time that we've ever had this many people join us for Hangout. So we were kind of like doing a test run, because we have people that are leaving and then people that are coming back in, and we're learning, we're setting up lower thirds and teaching people how to do it. It's like kind of all on the fly. So I'm happy that so far. I mean, I know that we had a little blip when I froze up on my computer, but I mean, for the most part,
we keep it moving. We know how to do this now.
This is what I'm saying. I'm like, now we can add another element. We can have people popping in and out, and you know what? We can feel like, okay, we're good with this. So awesome.
No, super exciting. And also just want to remind you guys, we are still taking your questions, comments, and tweets, as well as on the Google Plus page, so you can leave your questions there in the Q&A app, and we're looking out for them. So keep them coming.
Absolutely. Okay. So we are now joined by Miss Natalie Bell. She's a Winnipeg blogger. She's an influencer. She's a mom. She's just an all-around fabulous lady. So welcome to the show, Miss Peg City Lovely.
Well, thank you.
And then we also have Catherine, which we met Catherine, I think, through through Facebook before we went to Blissdom,
Yep.
and then she joined us. So she's a mom of 3. She's a wife, a dog owner. She loves camping and she loves cooking. So thank you for coming on the show, Catherine.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm glad to be here.
Awesome. All right, so you guys had joined us for our micro session, which was on how to do Hangouts on air. And I mean, you guys had an opportunity to kind of experience Blissdom, you know, go around and you know, learn different from different people, partake in different workshops. What to you guys was like the most, like, biggest aha moment, your favorite time at Bliss? You can go ahead, Natalie. Okay, go ahead. We have time. It's just us and the glass of wine.
What was really good for me was Moonsoar. I'm calling her, but she is the one who did the blogging for mobile micro session. And I thought it was really important to attend that world right now that requires everyone having smartphones, tablets, all that kind of stuff. So I wanted to make sure that my blog is accessible and viewable on those mediums, right? So her session ended up, I think it was the third one of the, was with her by myself. So I was very excited to have a conversation with her about my blog, what it looks like on different sites, and to find out that, you know, when she pulled up her, you're already doing all of this. And I was like, yes! So, yeah. So I did things to kind of speed up my blog on mobile and all those kind of things, and it was absolutely really great for me. I wouldn't call it an aha moment because I had a gazillion of those in many different periods of time, but definitely a very constructive, productive moment for me. Because I was there by myself. It was good.
How about you, Catherine? How about you?
Oh, my aha! It was so nice seeing people from years ago, because this was actually my third Blissdom. So reconnecting with those people and then meeting new ones was just absolutely fabulous, especially when they see you in the hallway and they go, I know you, and you whip out your phone and you go, oh my God, am I following you on Twitter? Yes, look, see, here's the proof. So that was really good. I loved the micro sessions. Yours was fabulous because I like the technical thing part of it. I actually went to school for all of this years ago and used to teach web design, and then, well, then I'm not anymore, but so I love it, and just refreshing my mind and to continue learning. That's probably my biggest. Sorry.
No, absolutely. Like you saying that was your biggest takeaway, and I mean that's really at the core. The core of it is that collaboration, it's the community, and it's the continuing education. I tried to do a triple C there. But yes, that's exactly what you want. And they did such a fabulous job of that. And I mean, everybody was just talking about that. And it was something that that's what's going to keep us going back, you know, because at the end of the day, when they deliver value like that, it's just phenomenal.
Oh, definitely. And I mean, it even motivated me to join the local WordPress group, too. So they have monthly meetings. You learn all about the plugins, the themes, and again, continually learning. And I love that stuff. So you can share it with other people. I mean, one of the Eddie the Pug, I finally met his human, and because I don't know if you follow him on Twitter, but she's absolutely hysterical. And so I met the human because I've been helping her a lot with her website over the internet. So it was nice to meet people in person, especially when it wasn't a dog.
No, I think that's one of the things. It's like, you know, it's like I love, like, Cher and I did not know anyone. I know that Cher knew Shannon and Jennifer, right, Cher?
And I was following a few people, but for the most part, we just
Yeah.
grew our community of friends and our online friendships. All of a sudden, it's like it's not about the followers; it's about the friends. And I mean that in the true sense of the word, not in the social sense of the word. That we grew, like we made new friendships and developed relationships that will continue to develop as we do things like this, as we jump on other people's platforms, as we read their blogs and get exposed to this community. That's what's really so special about it.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny. I was sitting in the one meeting, and there's Peg there, and there's one person behind her, between us. And so I started tweeting her, and I'm saying, we talk all the time, and so I just wave.
Yeah.
She's going either the left or the right. So we didn't really actually get to meet in person.
Pitch and play.
Yes.
I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite times as well. And I mean, Natalie, you coming down, and you were one of the ones racking up the frequent flyer miles to come. Like, what was it that brought you down? Like, you hopped on a plane to get here. Lori and I are local, and yes, we would hop on a plane, but we want to know what made you hop on the plane to say, I need to be here. I need to be with this group. What was it?
There's so many reasons. Number one was the fact innate, for me, that I've met online, to actually meet them face to face is number one. I was so great to give hugs and smooches and fake French kisses to everybody. That was one of the biggest things. The second thing was, last year was my first Bliss, so this is my second year. So I'm a vet now, seasoned.
Yeah.
So I had to come because I wanted to tide and very like, oh my God, oh, I can't believe it. And I mean, I still did that this year too, but at the same token, I wanted to really be a little bit more mature with myself and get some of that really good learning that I wanted to take away and things that I wanted to implement when I got back home. So it was really important to me to focus on that. So when and thirdly, let's not forget,
Right?
talent. I had to say, bye children, bye fiance. Mommy's gonna go have some time, and she's gonna refresh, and she's gonna reinvigorate her brain and get social and have fun, and that's what I needed, and that's what Bliss is all about. So that was the third thing for me, and amazing. Loved it.
It's like check, and check.
Check, and check.
That's right.
Yes.
And Catherine, you and I and Cher, we had all connected before on Facebook.
Yeah. You know what? I don't even know how we did that, to be honest.
I don't know.
Really
and the
don't.
funny thing is it kind of dawned on me. It kind of dawned on me who you were when we were talking afterwards, when we were like in the lobby, and I was like, I know this lady. This is the lady that I talked to on Facebook, and I was like, it was just kind of putting the face and realizing. And it's crazy. I love that, meeting people in advance and then, actually having an opportunity to meet and connect with them face to face in real life. And that, now we're able to kind of connect on what Cher and I love to do, which is hang out. This is how Cher and I hang out with each other, people. Like, a lot of people don't realize that Cher is at her house, I'm at my house. And, like, if Cher doesn't want to come over to my house, or I'm not going to go over to Cher's house, we're not going to go shopping, this is how we spend time together. We hang out with each other. So,
yeah, we just don't have the makeup, okay?
Yeah.
I'll just keep it real. We don't look like this. We didn't wake up like this in the morning, so.
Engagement. I think that was the word I heard a lot. Krista actually was doing that. Everything's engagement. You have to use that all the time. So that's what you guys are doing.
Yeah, no, it is. And we love that, we were able to bring on so many guests to come on today and kind of do, share their tips, share their aha moments, talk about their experience at Bliss. Catherine, you have been to Bliss many times before. Yes. What advice do you have for the newbie, for the person that's going to be watching that is maybe just getting into the whole social space, maybe they're becoming a blogger? What advice do you have for next year with all that Bliss is offering, whether it's be Bliss 360? What advice is it that you have?
As scary as it is, put yourself out there. Introduce yourself to people. Meet them on Twitter, join the Facebook groups, talk to them in advance, so that way you can walk up to them and say, hey, we were talking about such and such. And then you have more of a connection beforehand to make you feel more comfortable when you're actually in the Blissdom setting. And just go to the pajama party, the carnival, put yourself out there. It's really hard. I know the first year I was scared stiff. The second year, not too bad. Third year, piece of cake. I had no problem engaging with people and just saying, hi, how are you? And don't be afraid. Which
You know
is
what?
hard.
It's so true. And you know what I'm loving? Like, this hangout has been so amazing. It really helped me get over the post-Bliss blues, like talking to everybody who's come through and come visit us on the Lori and Cher show, and just really rehashing and reliving that. It literally started 1 week ago. 1 week ago today. So, I mean, just being able to experience and talk to you guys and talk about your experiences and hear other perspectives that, I mean, you guys are all, a different set of eyes and a different experience. So it's been so fabulous. And I mean, I'm already looking forward to 2015, and I know they have other events in between now and Bliss 2015. And that's just super exciting. And I'm blissful. Right now, I am blissful. And we have a question again from Leslie, and she's just wondering, Lori and Cher, would you guys consider doing a live hangout at Blissdom next year? You know what? We're having so much fun right now. I think that's an awesome idea, right, guys?
That is absolutely awesome idea.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm loving that idea. So thank you, Leslie. She's been awesome tonight, just engaging back and forth with us. So that's been phenomenal, and I love that idea. We're so doing that.
Yes, absolutely.
Definitely.
Natalie, join us, Leslie.
Natalie, one of the questions I had, you said that you got on the plane to get to Blissdom. I know that, Jennifer and Shannon were kind of maybe hinting that Blissdom might go on the road, it might go somewhere else. What advice do you have for all the people that, like us, that are used to having it in Toronto, on the outskirts of the GTA, Greater Toronto area, drive in from Windsor, drive in from Detroit, drive in from Hamilton, Lake Catherine, drive in
Markham.
Tell us
Hamilton.
why it's worth it. If Blissdom goes on the road, convince us today why we need to make sure we take the plane, go wherever they're going.
Well, I kind of did this little poll via video that this needs to happen in the West. We've had this discussion. Because you know what? A lot of people that come to Bliss are from the West. And I'm talking Manitoba, talking Alberta. We're all out here. We love to support. But we think, it's a little time to come on, see how we live, see how we do things, see how we can host you, see how we have a lot of fun. I think it's really important that we get that perspective, so that everyone has a perspective of how we roll in the West. So I think it's inevitable it comes.
Listen,
have it in my house.
Excuse. Mama needs an excuse to get on the plane. I'm ready to go. Let's just bring it to the West. I will hop on that plane. It was so worth it.
I will too.
So I guess everyone's cool. So you know what? When we get the announcement saying wherever Blissdom's going to be for 2015 from Jennifer and Shannon and team, that we all know that
it's amazing.
We're going to Toronto Pearson, or we're going to the Island Airport, and we are going Air Canada WestJet.
Let's find a flight sponsor so we can get a good deal.
Look at that!
Well.
There's family back there, Natalie. I see
fiance
and baby.
Oh, that's my son. He's like, I want to be involved. Oh, there we go. All right. Okay, come. All right.
All right. I have a great question right now from Krista, who joined us earlier on the Hangout. She's like, what's the biggest mistake we can make post-Blissdom? What opportunities do we not want to slip by? So what is the biggest mistake? And we'll go to you, Catherine. What do you think the biggest mistake post-Blissdom is, and what shouldn't we let pass by?
To leave the Blissdom Facebook group, because there's still a lot of really good information going on there, a lot of really good connections. So definitely stay in the Facebook Blissdom group. and keep connecting with people.
I love that. I feel like I want to answer a question, Cher. Can I answer a question?
Yes, you can answer the same question. What would be the biggest mistake post Blissdom? That what if you drop the ball? You do. What could it be so that we don't do it?
Well, I want to say is execute. I think that, you know, a lot of times, you know, whether you're going to a social media conference or you're going to another conference for another part of your business, you know, we learn all this great stuff. We're very, very excited, but then we fail to launch. We fail to execute what we've learned. And it's like really, you know, we've just put all the coal in the choo-choo train, you know, and we are all like ready and pumped to go. So keep going. Use this momentum.
Don't blow steam. Get moving.
Yeah, get moving. Don't stop. Right now in this week, it's not too late. If you haven't done something for Blissdom, whether it's reach out to, you know, someone you've met there, whether it be a brand or whether it be a person that you might be able to do a collaboration, whether it's continuing your education, go to 360 Bliss, sign up, but just keep doing it. Because if you stop, then you won't. And it's very, very hard to stop. But we already had like this really great opportunity to really get, you know, our mojo going. So that I hope that my answer was okay. But yeah,
I think it's an awesome answer. And I just want to give a quick shout out to our associate producer, Adriel, who's holding it down on Twitter. Thank you so much, Adriel, for keeping those tweets coming, and you're tweeting and you're responding. He's just awesome, and we just want to give him a quick shout out. And now I need to go look at Natalie's little baby. Oh my gosh, what a cutie.
He's Jamolish.
Aww.
Half Jamaican, half Polish.
Hello. Jamolish, half Jamaican, half Polish. I love it. Hello, my little Jamolish baby. It's like those crazy ladies on TV.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
So Natalie, how do you answer that question in terms of mistakes people can make right now?
I really have to agree with what both, and it's really about making sure that you execute them. I knew that one of my goals was one of my goals was to make sure that I take some things away that I can actually implement, that I implemented while I was there. Thank God to Cap Tech. Thank you very much for hooking it up. Fixed a few things while I was in session with them. And then, of course, like I said, with Moonsoar at my blogging for mobile, there is so many different things. Even, you know, Scott Stratton on marketing, him and Allison, they had some pretty common sense to think about, and one thing would be not to overthink what I do with your blog, not to overthink your next step and your why and what, you know. Same with the podcasting, just press record. Everyone
get her done.
Everyone needs,
you know, Chris Reed, Canadian Dad.
Exactly.
He said that too, right? So everyone needs to just, you know, and a big thing, those comparisons, not comparing yourself to completely different or niche than you, and potentially, you know, this many more followers and blah blah blah. Don't worry about that. Worry about you. Worry about your why you do it, and that will help you stay authentic. That will help you be the successful blogger you want to be. So that's my tip.
Keep your passion.
Cher, do you have any tips? Anything you'd say? Because I think everyone just needs to continue hacking into their own awesome.
I love that. I think that's it, really. I mean, we pretty much covered it. It really is. My motto for 2014 is dream it, do it, done. And it is the doing part that most of us drop the ball on. We can sit there and dream it, and we can get lost in our dreams. But we're not going to have what we want unless we actually do. And then the other thing, too, I really love this, Natalie, how you touched on, stop looking at other people's numbers, because it's so easy in this space, because our influence, our followings are so out there. Like, they're right in your face. Like, it's like, especially because we're looking at this from a business perspective. It's like, oh, how many followers do they have? How much engagement are they getting? But it really is about measuring yourself against yourself. And you will see that incremental improvement, and allow the snowball effect to happen. As long as you continue to put effort in, you continue to go to conferences like this one, learn and apply, you will see your best become better than what it was before. So it's about continuing to do. And that's all I can say from that. And I mean, this has just been inspiring. Let those people that you're watching and seeing how they're doing, let them inspire you to continue moving the yardstick, continue moving it forward, because we're all in it together. And it's funny when we were talking to Krista, and we're talking about that, you know, she's in social media, she's doing branding and stuff like that. And like, I mean, there's so many people doing the same thing, and it's all good because the globe is literally your stage for your business. So it's just phenomenal. So yeah, that's all I have to say.
Awesome. Well, we've been on
Follow
the
your
air
passion.
Thank you. Yeah.
Well, we've been on the air for an hour and 30 minutes. I love that we have so many tips, and I hope
really, like, look at where I am in my wine bottle. What the hell? I never drink that much.
My son is saying, get yourself a selfie stick.
Oh,
That's what he's saying.
I like that. I really like that.
Yeah.
So I think anyone who's like actually sat through and watched to the end, Positivity Patty, I want to say thank you for tweeting at us. Krista, who's been there.
Diary of a Domestic Diva. She's like looking forward to joining you guys again, and thank you for that as well. So
Fan of
we've had
as well, Ryan, all the guests that we had on tonight. We want to say thank you so much. As well, Cher and I will be teaching more on how people can use Hangouts, whether you're a brand or you are a blogger, on how to, you know, leverage this awesome technology, which is Google Hangouts on Air. So stay tuned for us with that information that we will be releasing shortly, and the 360 opportunities. Just thank you guys so much. We feel like, you know what, we no longer have the Bliss Blues, and hopefully everyone is revamped and wants to, you know, whatever they dropped the ball on this week, that they're going to pick it up right now and do it.
So I just want to remind everybody to check out 360bliss.ca. Check out the website. Join it. It's like so easy to become a member. You can become a member for free and be a part of this awesome community that Shannon and crew and Jennifer and crew, they all have been working so hard for this. So definitely join it. 360 Bliss is where you want to be at. That's a screenshot of the website. So yeah, take the time, dream it, do it, and then it will be done.
And we want to just do a quick little shout out before we go to, you know, the sponsors, the Lentils. We love this. This is like where Cher and I are going to be putting our smoothies and stuff like that when we're working out. The key is when we're working out.
Right.
Philosophy, absolutely love this. The stuff. Thank you.
We just love swag. Oh, you have more than me.
I do. This is like, you know, the best, worst idea ever. No, it's the best idea because we're not going to get sick because we're chewing down on the multivites. Is that what it is? The multivites?
Yeah, multivites. Yeah, the vitamins.
This is like the best thing if you don't like to take. Yeah. So
yeah, that's all of our swag.
All the brands. We enjoyed ourselves so much, and thank you to everyone. Thank you to Shannon. We hope you feel better. To Jennifer, thanks for joining us. To Ryan, to Ricky, to Krista, to Amber, to Natalie, to Tiffany, to Catherine. I hope I got everyone.
Yes.
Thank you. I think I got everyone, right?
Thank you guys so much
for joining us tonight.
Thanks so much.
Thank you guys as well. See
you later. We want to definitely make sure if you stuck in to the end, make sure you hit that subscribe button because there's a lot more where that came from. You can also check us out. We are featured vloggers, I guess, on byblacks.com. And also, if you didn't watch our last show, you need to go and check it out. It was all about Jizzy's story, and her boyfriend cheated on her, and she contracted HIV as a result. It was a touching, awesome interview. It's something that you'll really be thinking twice about, and just all the messages behind that. So definitely check it out. We want to say thanks once again for watching, and stay tuned for the next episode. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.